Hey everybody, this is Heather and I'm back with another video. This one is for Emerald Creek and it's actually my final post for Emerald Creek. I'm done with the design team, but I'm really looking forward to some future collaborations with them, so that'll be really fun. I just sort of showed you some of the products that I was given for this project to create with, and there's a bunch of stamps. The shell one is brand new, as is the gladiolus stamp flower, and that one's really pretty, but I don't end up using it on this project. I was inspired by the ocean-themed products that Kim of Emerald Creek had given me, so I pulled out some photos from a trip in September of 2015 that my husband and I went on, and we just went to Vancouver Island, and it was gorgeous. We had such a good time, and this is on Long Beach, which is close to Tofino. It was so beautiful and just really good memories. So the memories of the photos are sentimental to me, and of course because it's my last Emerald Creek post, it's sentimental. So this page just turned out to be really special in some unexpected ways for me, which I love. And I'm still trying to kick this flu, so sorry if the voiceover seems a bit choppy. I may have to cut out some moments where I'm coughing, but I'm starting to feel better, so that's good. So this piece of paper I just ripped from some white cardstock. I wanted that ripped edge because I'm sort of going for a sand beach look here. And I'm using charred gold embossing powder from Emerald Creek, which I just love. You can see at this distance from the camera, it's a very overall gold color, but up close it's got some black specks and some silver specks and just a lot of color and texture in it. I love it. So it does sort of look like sand in a way. And I kept adding layers because I had missed some spots initially, so I went over those, but then I liked how the powder looked when it was really thick, and I was inspired to try this technique. I'm using the starfish stamp from Emerald Creek. I love this little guy, and I'm heating up the embossing powder so it's nice and warm and melted, and then stamping the rubber stamp right in it. I wouldn't suggest trying this with photopolymer stamps, but with rubber stamps it's fine, and it just creates a really neat look in the embossing powder, so I love how that turned out, and it's just a bit of extra interest. Overall on the layout, you can't really tell that I've done this, but I know it's there, and now you will know it's there, so it's kind of a neat look. Next, I'm taking this wave stamp, which is really cute and detailed with lots of little speckles and shading, and I'm using some distress ink to stamp that with. It's in the faded jeans color, and I just stamped all along there, creating another border type thing that I'm going to use to layer with that charred gold piece of cardstock, and then I'm gonna fussy cut it all out using these new scissors. I got them for Christmas from my wonderful hubby. I told him I wanted fine tip scissors, so he picked these out for me. They're from EK Tools. And through the magic of editing, I have not made you watch me cut that whole thing out, but now I'm just sponging the edges with that faded jeans ink, and I'm going to ink it up with the Versamark ink once again. And the embossing powder I'm going to use on this is Fractured Ice, and I love this one. It's really neat. It's really versatile. It changes color based on what ink you put underneath it or what cardstock you're using it on. So it's super versatile. Lots of different looks you can get with this, and it's pretty chunky, and it's got some black specks in it as well as mostly clear. And it just looks really cool. It does look like fractured ice. So I'm putting that on the waves because I thought it would give it sort of a wet water sort of look, which it did, and I like how that turned out. There were some areas that I wanted to go over, so I just figured I'd do a second layer on the whole thing, and it makes it a bit thicker and just gives it a better look in my opinion. Some powders well, most of the powders actually are very versatile from Emerald Creek because you can layer it multiple times and create different looks each time. So I love that aspect of these powders. And that's what the wave looks like up close. Next, I'm going to start my title. So I wanted to show you that these are just some actual super cheap letters from the dollar store, and they're all different bright colors that obviously didn't go with my layout at all, but I really like the font, so that's why I bought these initially, because they were cheap and I like the font. So I enjoy altering these ones. So I used some white acrylic paint, and I actually added 3 layers and dried it each time, but I didn't make you watch all that. And next I'm going to use a 3rd embossing powder. This one is Soft Fallen Snow from Emerald Creek, of course, and I just love this one. It really does look like a skiff of snow on top of your project, especially when you put it on a colored cardstock or something. You can see the color between each of the grains, I guess, of the embossing powder, so it looks like a skiff of snow. But in this case, I wanted it to look like sand, of course, which I think it actually worked out really well. It does look a lot like sand. I'm taking some vintage photo ink now, and the first one I used was tea dye, and just inking that up, and it turned a sandy sort of color. So I like that the powders are versatile like that. Lots of them can be inked to change the look as well. So they're all so versatile. I just adore these products, really, and I'm going to, of course, continue using them even though I'm not on the design team anymore. We do carry a bunch of them in our Wild Whisper shop because I love the products. So, of course, I'm going to still be promoting them. I love Emerald Creek. I love Kim. She's such a wonderful person, and it's just been awesome playing with her products. So I will, of course, continue to support her. You just saw me mat my photos on some white cardstock, and now I'm sort of arranging my pieces that I've created to figure out my final sort of design. Off screen there, I'm just going through some papers and seeing what else I want to add. This paper here is from the new Wild Whisper Focus on You collection, and I really love the paper. It went quite nicely with the photos, that blue sky color and the watercolor, just a soft blue, not quite teal. I often use teal, but I wanted to try and match that sky color, and this worked out quite well. So I ended up using the backside of the branding strip as well. It's got a nice purple circle pattern on it, and there's purple splatters on the pattern paper, so it all ties in nicely. Even though there's not really any purple in the photos, it just ties in. And later I'll be adding some really fun Emerald Creek embellishments and tie in that purple even more. So I'm going to use some tacky glue here to assemble this main border strip. I think the tacky glue was a really good choice because other glues don't stick as well on top of the embossing powder. It's a really shiny surface, and because the tacky glue is so thick and sticky, it just adhered really well initially, and I didn't really have to wait for it to dry. It dries pretty quick, especially in a thin layer like that, so it worked out really well. Next, through again the magic of editing, I have stitched over the photos. Oh, I'm going to punch a tag first. I'm going to stitch around the photos, and I've decided that I want the horizontal photo to be a pocket for that tag that I cut out. So I stitched across the top of the photo initially, and then I stitched the photo on the other 3 sides onto that piece of cardstock. So it's got an opening at the top, even though the stitching goes around all 4 sides of the photo. I also stitched across the wave border, so that looked cool as well, just adding more texture. Now I'm taking this gorgeous new Emerald Creek stamp that's going to be releasing at the CHA Creativation show, and I'm just using some tea dye ink and stamping that around. I stamped it off most times because I wanted it to be a subtle look, and now I'm doing the same thing with the starfish stamp. I love that, but I wanted it a bit more bold, so I didn't stamp that one off. The new shell is going to be shipping as soon as, or not shipping, but it will be available for order as soon as the CHA show starts. So that's January 21st, and that's super exciting. Kim has also got some more products that are going to be coming up in my video right away here. They are the quarry stones, and I just love them. They're such a good selection of colors, and you'll see me use them in clusters. I think they'll be really versatile. Sort of, you can almost use them as if they are enamel dots, just to speckle around your layouts or cards, or you can use them as actual embellishments, put them in the centers of flowers, or make clusters like I'm going to do. They're just so exciting, and you'll see those in a minute. I did show them at the beginning of the video just quickly, but I will use 3 of the colors that Kim gave me samples of. The little packages are just sample packages. You will be able to purchase them in a container, which I believe is a similar size to what the embossing powders come in. I just glued on my title, using some more tacky glue, and that actually worked really well. Shockingly, even though that layer of embossing powder paper is thick and it was lifting up, the letters stuck down really nicely. So initially I thought I might line up the stones along the wave border there, but I liked how they looked clustered better. So I'm using the purple, the yellow, and the gold stones, and they have some cool names. I just don't know the names offhand, but you should definitely check them out. There's some great photos on Instagram that Emerald Creek has posted, and they're just really beautiful. I'll also have some close-up photos at the end and more close-up photos on my blog so you can see these. And I'm just using the tacky glue to glue them on in clusters. I got more confident with this as I went along, so the 3rd cluster I think looks the nicest. But I really love how that turned out, and I hope you also participate in the challenge over at Emerald Creek. You could have a chance to win $50 to the shop, so that's really awesome. And if you're going to the CHA show, be sure to check out the booth. It's number 1930, I believe, and Kim will be there with her products. Wild Whisper is also going to have their products there, so that's super exciting. Susie and I won't be there, unfortunately, but our products will, so go check them out. Here I just splattered some distress ink around using my water brush, and not distress ink, distress stain rather. So I love how that turned out. I hope you enjoyed this process video, and I hope you go check out Emerald Creek's blog to see all the amazing other creations. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.